to game one tonight, and that'll be Mineski in the blue team going up against Infinity in the purple team.
So Mineski here, they've gone for the first man Elise, something don't see too much as of late, but still Elise is really strong in the jungle right now. She used to be incredibly strong at top lane, but everybody just seems to pick her up in the jungle now. So bans coming out again, Shen being banned out by Infinity and Cassidy being banned out by Mineski.
Right, so Cassidy, some people saying, because this is the latest patch that we're playing on, and Riot kind of said, oh, we're going to nerf Cassidy down a bit, but a lot of players, I mean, even personally, I feel that Cassidy just got a buff with his Rift Walk.
Let's nerf Cassidy by making him better.
By making him better.
That's what Riot
I think that's how
did.
nerf Irelia works as well. You know, let's nerf him and get that Cassidy up to full speed. Now, Nidalee is definitely one of those unconventional bans. We're seeing more of her in the mid lane play, but typically, I think they only ban Nidalee against like the Saigon Jokers, and now this is a new thing coming in against Mineski.
Sure, is normally we see Nidalee being target bans at teams and not really a general ban. We saw Nidalee always banned against Hotshot GG back when he played in CLG back in the good old days.
When he was kicking, when he was kicking my brother in the butt, right?
Pretty much. And now only in the GPL we normally only, as you said, see Nidalee bans against the Saigon Jokers, but as of late haven't seen much of that either. And hopping over Soraka, but I don't think Mineski can do this.
I don't think so. It's like that Chowie thing where he hovers over Teemo. Eventually,
that came true.
Yeah, eventually. That'll be many games later. Of course, the Aatrox and the Zed ban, both I think very warranted still in the current patch.
Yeah. Zed being the incredibly strong mid laner that he is, and Aatrox just being really aggressive early in the jungle and also pretty decent at top lane as well.
He currently has, I think, one of the best sustains, and of course the level 1 ability to just have that free Guardian Angels makes him a threat in those level 1 fights. But of course, Mineski going for the Renekton pick, lovely pick. It's really hard to counter. But Jax is available though, and that could have kind of an even matchup for them.
I like the I like the Renekton first pick though, coming in from Mineski here, because even if Infinity do pick up Jax, Renekton has such a superior laning phase to Jax at that top lane. He should be able to shut him down. The problem is that Renekton will eventually scale off compared to Jax, who just scales into a late game beast. Right,
so looks like Infinity is kind of hovering over Annie and Nasus. Now, Annie and Nasus does mean a very high-powered and engaged sort of team, regardless of when and Annie's probably going bot lane nowadays. We don't see her in the mid, where she gets bullied out quite a bit.
Poor Annie.
Poor Annie. And Nasus, also a drop in popularity on his part in the competitive scene. But what do you think of him currently in the meta? Okay, looks like not going to go for it anyway, so who cares?
So, might not see the two brothers battle it off. I like Nasus. I still think Nasus is an incredibly strong champ. He's just really consistent in what he does. He has good clear speed in jungle, great hold when he comes to the lanes to hold out the waves, pushing into towers. Has pretty decent ganks and superior map control. The only thing I really think that Nasus lacks on is just sort of trying to lock down anybody else except for an AD carry. That's the only thing I feel that Nasus does not excel at doing. But they do go for the Vi pickup, which is pretty more common nowadays in the jungle. Right,
yeah, Vi is still one of those great picks for harder on initiation. I mean, with an Annie, you're definitely going to go in with that big AoE and lock out that single target that you need, the high priority picks.
Sure, and Vi's only really real weakness, and I can see right now in jungle, is just her early game pressure is not as good compared to some other junglers such as Jarvan and maybe even Aatrox, but Aatrox being banned out this game. And she is susceptible to 2v1 swaps and also jungle invade. So if a team does go for a 2v1 swap into the mid lane, it could pressure Vi's jungle quite significantly.
That's true. Let's see, Mineski goes in for the Fiddlestick support with the Fizz in the mid lane. Now Fizz did get hit by quite a big nerf in this patch with that big drop in the AP ratios for Seastone Trident. We've not seen too much action from him in the pro scene as of late with the current patch. So still thinking about it, still thinking about whether that Fizz pick is going to work out in that mid game now that his power significantly dropped.
I find it really surprising that in Worlds we saw Ahri being picked up all the time, Fizz being picked up all the time, and then just suddenly right after Worlds, before any of the updates, straight away dropped out of favor. And now Fizz coming back in.
Everyone knew that was coming. Best not to practice something which gonna get hit by the nerf bat. Ahri as well, in this patch, I think this is when the Kiss of Death comes into play, right? You need to land that charm to make it effective. And it seems for Infinity, they have not picked out their mid laner as of yet, so still many choices on the line.
We could see Annie mid.
We could see that Annie
hopefully.
Mid. Yeah. Hopefully, but against a Fizz, I highly doubt, so it's going to be a really tricky lane to play against.
Would see.
What else is there? Just for your information, we are playing, even though we are on the latest patch, it looks like Jinx, Heimerdinger, and Sivir will be out. They will not be playable because of that massive rework these characters have had.
I'm actually quite happy that Heimerdinger is not available in this patch. And Sivir as well. I'm actually quite happy that those two champions are not available in this patch because Heimerdinger is just melting everybody right now. And I never thought I'd be able to say that.
Raise your dongers, man.
Raise your dongers.
That's how it goes with the Heimer man. So let's see what else they got. They want that Lee Sin, but they're also picking up the Tristana. Now, that Tristana pick signals us very clearly, we want that they want the Caitlyn, which wants the mid to late game pressure as well. And of course, the superior laning phase is definitely in the cards when you have Fiddlesticks plus Caitlyn. I don't know. I thought that with their team composition, they might have wanted to go for Zyra instead, because Zyra does have this ability to just kind of better engage in Fiddlesticks. Or when you have someone like Vi in the mix who won't get affected by the Terrify. Yeah.
Oh, I really like this Caitlyn Fiddlesticks lane combo. Just as you said then, and it just has such a superior laning phase because they're able to poke out that bot lane. Even if they go for a switch up, having a 2v1 swap, Caitlyn and Fiddlesticks will do such a good job at poking out that solo laner and getting good damage onto the tower as well. And I also like that Fiddlesticks 3-second fear, if he flashes in for a fear, it's pretty much an instant initiate.
Right. The question is now, what is the final pick for Infinity? Now, if they do pick something troll like Teemo, I would think that Teemo would go to that mid lane as opposed to having that Annie play it out.
Teemo support.
Teemo support. OP? Blind?
OP blind.
Blind? Okay.
Cannot see.
Cannot
Can't blind Lee Sin.
Cannot see.
You can't blind what is already blinded.
No, Inception, if you do it as a 100% hit rate from Lee Sin, that's
okay.
what happens. And it looks like it might be that Rise, who has actually been significantly buffed across the previous patches with that increase to his base movement speed and with the scaling movement speed of his ultimate. So that could actually be really nice. We have not seen too much of him at Worlds at all, even though people like, I think, Dade, used to love playing Rise.
I like the quality of life buffs that, or buff and nerf that they gave Rise. His Q used to have a really high range. His E used to be in the middle of his Q and W, and his W used to be quite a short range. Now they've made it all the same range, so it's a bit easier to play Rise. Feels a bit more fluid when you play Rise.
Right, absolutely. So with that being said, I think I really like Infinity's lineup here. They have, and then they still went for the Nasus pick, and he's going to go top lane up against his brother. So it's going to be the sibling rivalry.
Brothers.
Yeah, sibling rivalry.
This is the patch with Nasus' new voice update, isn't it?
I don't
If
think
I'm not
so. I don't think
mistaken.
so. No, I'm. No, that's on the that's on the PBE. That's on the
still
PBE.
PBE, okay.
Still PBE. Yeah.
Damn.
This is how we know that we've played that much games
Yep.
in the past few days. But the Annie, Vi, and even the Rise and Nasus inside kind of says we want that lockdown. It's going to be a really good catch comp. Not the best. I mean, obviously, there are much better catch champions out there, but that seems to be their strategy at the moment. You have the siege potential from Ezreal at the back lines. He does play rather safe, but they have a strong front line, that's for sure.
They sure do, and I'm really, really interested to see how this bottom lane works out with Ezreal Annie going up against a Caitlyn Fiddlesticks. I do think that Caitlyn Fiddlesticks do have the advantage against this Annie Ezreal lane, but if Annie can land some decent stuns onto Caitlyn Fiddlesticks, I think that they can pull ahead at this bottom lane just because Caitlyn and Fiddlesticks both do not do well against hard engages.
Right, and Fiddlesticks has one of the weaker stats in this game.
Yes,
so
he sure
in that
does.
bot lane, he can get melted. He's a Scarecrow after all, and Scarecrow is afraid of fire. And we know by Pokemon theory, grass loses to fire. Just reminding all the viewers out there. The mid lane though, Fizz usually, I think, kind of wrecks Rise very early on in the game. Rise needs those items to scale up and hit that pinnacle with 2 or 3 items. But Fizz, on the other hand, he does have a lot of power spike just by scaling up in levels. And once the Lich Bane hits in, bam.
He sure does. It's going to be interesting to see how this top lane plays out as well. I feel that Snoy really has to put some early pressure onto Nasus here on Team Infinity. He has to be able to outlane his brother up at this top lane. If not, Nasus will just be able to out-sustain and outscale Renekton later on into the game.
Yeah, Nasus, the good thing about Nasus is that he actually does, I mean, if you get farmed on him, it's perfect, it's great. But once you shut Nasus down early on, his mid game turns really, really weak. Unlike Renekton, who still has that dominance to get just like some added power. Fury of the Sand still needs you to like, get in their face, smack them with a Q, which might not hurt as much if you're not farming.
Pretty much. So going to the jungle is what we're going to have Vi going up against Lee Sin. I like the Lee Sin pick coming in from Mineski to go up against this Vi jungle just because Lee Sin is one of the jungles that can put incredible early pressure into the opposition jungle, force invades, force junglers to lose their buffs, so take a different route than they normally would just to throw off a jungler early on into the game. And Vi being a very weak early game jungler and also having a very weak top lane, very weak mid lane, very weak bot lane matchup, I feel that Lee Sin should be able to put incredible pressure and possibly turn the tide for the game for Mineski.
Right. When you mention Lee Sin, what I think is that great early game dueling power, and up against that Vi in that jungle, is going to create a lot of opportunities, especially if champions like Fizz, who are innately quite mobile, they can assist Lee in the jungle and counter jungling, just to get a bit of an early head start.
They sure can. So we will be going into game very shortly. What do you predict coming into this game? What do you think will be the turning point between either team here? What do you think either team has to do to take this game?
Well, Mineski really needs to get that early game snowball running for them if they want to last into that late game. Because as it stands, I think the late game potential really is going to shine from the side of Infinity. Once you have a Rise, that's a big, big issue because even Fizz will not be able to insta-burst him down. So let me fix this because I am the most unlucky person when it comes to loading the client.
This client just does not like us casters, but on your screen you can see that we are in the loading screen right now, so we will be going into game very, very shortly.
Right.
I feel that for Mineski here, they have to abuse the fact, as you said, that they have this really strong early game. They have to abuse that they have a really strong bot lane, a really strong top lane matchup, a really strong mid lane matchup, and one of the most superior early game junglers. If they aren't able to abuse this, and if they go even up till the mid game, I feel that this is where Infinity will start to pull ahead with Vi scaling up, with Nasus, Ezreal, and Rise all starting to scale into this late game, so to speak. And with Annie being such a great AoE initiator, it might be hard for Mineski to back away from this late game ramped up Infinity.
Right, that's exactly my sentiments as well, because while a 6-item Caitlyn can actually be very, very devastating, it's going to be very tough, especially since they didn't nerf Trin Force or whatsoever in the current patch. The damage is still extremely high, and Ezreal should be able to get things going.
I'm going to start a petition from today. I think that GPL.Garena.com, for every single team, they should show how long each team has had a pause for.
Right.
The concurrent time of a pause.
We'll give them an award at the end of the season.
Yes. Best pause SEA.
Best pause SEA.
That's the award that has to be given out. But finally, we are back into game.
Thank goodness. And now, early pinks look very defensive because you're not seeing anyone kind of clustering up, wanting to go for those level 1 fights. And why should they? I think if one team wanted to, it would have to be Mineski, with TG having that pump and that fear. But it looks like they want to just, kind of cover their bases, not want to play it too risky. Infinity, on the other hand, because they want to scale to the mid to late game, risking their level 1 is just not a prerogative. It's just not a prerogative.
So Annie did a smart choice there of hugging that wall and that banana brush, not being spotted out by the Explorer ward that was placed down by Mineski there. We might see Infinity go for an invasion, do get into the tri-bush. They are not noticed, but pings have gone down from Mineski, so they do suspect that something is up.
They do. And Exo here caught up in the banana brush, dodging that Mystic Shot quite well. They get that Sonic Wave very nicely down, pointing out the opponents and where they are. Mineski should know that the pause is coming.
Decide to pick up a pink ward.
Right. I don't know whether they want to waste that pink ward, especially if they want that lane superiority with Caitlyn, Fiddlesticks against the risk. Oh, but they do it anyway. My worry now is that without that pink ward in the lane, Annie can kind of be that really scary stun bully because she has a really good range with the disintegrate stun.
He still has one more pink ward, so hopefully we can see TG use that to good effect at the bottom lane.
Right, you know what, that was silly of me because I was looking at Xera's here. And I saw, oh, no more pink.
No more pink.
My bad. And here we go, Lee starting off, Noel getting that early red buff, and Exo holding on to that headshot. Very nicely done. He can go to the lane, get a free crit off. Nasus starting as blue, helping Insta start that blue, and it looks like they want to go for that 2v1. Now Nasus at 2v1 isn't that bad, and I love this play that he's doing. A lot of these 2v1 swaps start off with the solo laner taking the wolves of double golems.
So this is where the current meta comes into play. It's now where you decide, are we going to push in the tower early and deny this lane experience if he's gone to farm the jungle? Or are we just going to build up the wave and then try and push in and deny as many last hits as we can? It does look like Mineski here are not going to try and push in early. Instead, they're just holding up the wave, trying to allow the creep to allow the minions to snowball in size and then push in the tower. So Nasus here will still get that experience.
Right, and Yume here getting bullied in the mid lane, and we saw Firefox just dishing out a truckload of damage at level 1. And I'm going to just put a side comment here by saying I love the new gold animation. I mean, that text is good.
It just feels really good when you get a last hit.
Yeah, you feel richer, even though it's the same amount of gold.
You feel richer.
Yes, you feel nice. Mid lane Firefox getting that level 3 earlier. Oh no, just at the same time. And he will actually be able to bully out Fizz for that little bit because Fizz has dropped quite a few of his targets. He dropped the pot as it is. Insta here going hard, fighting up against Noel. Somehow Noel coming out a bit slow, and first blood goes over to Firefox. Yume now caught in a bad position. The playful trickster is down Insta, and then one small dot of health. Firefox throwing out those hits. Insta locking up, throwing in the vault breaker, and getting a very nice kill, but trading in the process with Firefox.
That was very nice coordination coming in from Vi and Rise there. Comboing out the snare and also Vi coming in with that vault break at the right time was almost enough to save Firefox and take down Yume as well. Mineski, they were abusing the fact that Noel had that really good early game, but because Yume was pushed back into his tower early on, there was not much that Yume could do to help out since Firefox had the positioning advantage to help out his jungler.
Right, so now Insta with that actually gets a bit of an advantage in the jungle. And one thing I like about Vi is that he snowballs really well. Once you give him an advantage, Lee Sin, yeah, he does need that early snowball to get that advantage. But Vi, when Vi gets it, man, you are actually looking at a bit of trouble in the mid game with some viable items.
Magic's Razor being picked up here by Lee Sin early on, something you don't usually see in the jungle anymore. It's going to help out with his clear time quite a lot, but it just does not give too many other beneficial stats.
Right, I mean the armor is nice, so your unit potential is slightly there, but then again, as you said, I don't think like Vi's not going to worry that much about it. Insta comes from the side, they catch out Exo, Exhaust being dropped down. That's not enough mana onto NASA, so that's kind of wasted. They do waste the exhaust though, and that helps out just a bit more. Of course, the flash of Exo burned as well. Insta taking some extra damage, and ooh, that tilt over Peacemaker just hitting at the tit.
Nice laning there coming in from Mineski. They just knew the exact time they could turn around on that. That's very nicely as well.
Yeah, so CS-wise, it looks pretty even for most of the lanes. Like Nasus is just a few behind, but their wave is still there for him to take. Spear dropped down so he wouldn't get that last hit. Very sneaky play. Oh, Insta going really low, and Exo there just pick up a. That was a bit of a silly death here coming in from Insta, as he went a bit too deep, took too many pokes, and not worth.
For a player of just this level, it's just not acceptable for Insta to give up that easy of a kill. I mean, he just pretty much got poked to death there.
Yeah, no, not just a kill. He now has that double buff, and Caleb double buff means you're going to be constantly pushing that wave in with those builds over Peacemakers.
Especially with a Fiddlesticks lane, you're going to have so much poke going down onto this 2v1 lane. I think that really might have costed Infinity a lot.
Yeah, it's going to set them back far behind, because one thing they did now is that they gave Nasus a really difficult laning phase. No stacks of Siphoning Strike is a big problem. Noel here getting stunned in by Xerath, but he will escape in Safeguard. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Sure, so we can see Yume here go really aggressive onto Firefox, not going to get that damage from that playful Trickster, and takes a ton in return. Insta coming up to the top lane, there's a stun.
Double stun coming in, they lock down Noel, Exhaust drops as well, but he burns that flash, and with that they managed to escape. Firefox is still dishing a lot of damage onto Yume. That's going to keep him at bay for a while, but who knows for how long, because once that level 6 pops into Fizz, and he wants to commit to that fight, that's it.
That was a 6.5 minute tower taken by the bottom lane of Mineski. Gonna see Infinity return the favor with the tower up at top lane, but Mineski were able to do it in 2 members.
That flash coming in from Xerath was super wasted, and that's just bad coordination and bad timing on their part. So, but you were mentioning, yes, the 1-for-1 trade for turrets, no real advantage given, and you can see the gold score kind of signals the same way. Infinity just with a 200 goal lead.
Gonna be interesting to see what both of these teams do now that the turrets have been taken down in those 2v1 lanes. Snoy here still looks to be farming up at this top lane, trying to get as many last hits as he can. With that tower down, there's not as much pressure as Xerath and Su here can put down, just because he has free roam.
Okay, so we need to adjust our mics.
We will be right back.
Hello? Okay, sorry about that. And with that, Mineski kind of takes out Price to attempt an early dragon sneakily with that pink ward. And Infinity has no idea what's going on. That's not a good sign. So easy dragon for them. Uncontested. I think both teams kind of played it a bit strangely. Because yes, Mineski made a good play, but that was a bit of a risk factor involved.
I like the play coming out from Mineski though, just because they knew that they started off with the 2v1 bottom lane and had the superior bottom lane with EXO also grabbing up that early kill. He was able to grab a BF sword on his first back to base.
Right.
And they knew,
they get that fear off with the cross-up. Comboing with Come the Waters, that's an easy kill for Yume and TG.
Yume with the superior roam there coming out from his support. Normally we would see any supports be doing this early on in the game. Not the Fiddlesticks so much, but great roam coming in from Mineski picking up that kill at the mid lane. Yume now might have the advantage here. Snoy gonna battle out with his brother at this top lane. Nasus really does not have any early game right now. He's not gonna be able to snowball as well as he should be able.
Right, Snoy is gonna have that big lane dominance with Colony, plus good sustain coming on his part. Now, what I was scared about, the fear comes in onto Su. Is he gonna walk into that trap? No, it looks like our RNG gods are in his favor. The exhaust drops down to Xerath. They're following up EXO, doing all that poke, that ward in the brush. Super helpful. TG picks up the kill with the auto attack. Now Su in a bit of trouble. He gets hit down. The fear drops just before his death. And looks like I think EXO. Oh no! EXO gets that kill even after the rare pop down.
Xerath made another crucial mistake there. He missed his W to get the stun off, and he hit level 6 at the same time. He wasn't even able to level up Tibbers. Was not able to do much there, but Xerath missing that stun was pretty much what told Mineski we can keep going for this kill.
Yeah, no, let's go in. And that's how they created a big bot lane pressure. Okay, yes. Sorry, no. Mic check. So anyway, I was going to just say something small about the dragon play earlier on. I mean, although the early initiation was good, the fact that they didn't ward up prior before that in that blue side kind of showed that, hey, anything could have happened and was a big risk factor involved. Not the smartest way to play the wards and the early game dragon. Looks like Noel goes in, but the counter game from Insta, they drop in the entire wham bam combo. Xerath still coming from the side. They get a 3-man lockdown onto Yume. The exhaust drops down. He will play for Trickster out there. Wow, a burn of the summoner spells and all that, but nonetheless, Infinity do pick up one kill.
Sure do. Firefox there, I don't think his flash was necessary.
No,
after Mineski were able to escape there. Frank and Tibbers just get speared there. Don't know how he would be very afraid of a Scarecrow though.
No, when they both look extremely scary, so that's one of the problems as it is. Su here needs to get that farm back in the bot lane. Unlike Caitlyn, who looks like she's going to build either the Bloodlust or the Infinity Edge, the slower it takes for Ezreal to pick up that Trinity Force, the better it is for EXO to win that lane out with an IE.
Sure is, and EXO really has to abuse the fact that it's still early in the game and he can still poke out Ezreal from the lane damage now, while EXO still has to rely on good positioning to poke Ezreal out of this lane.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more on that. Now TG coming for the second time in a row. Firefox has hit TG that, and TG will get the bounce off of the kill.
TG needs to surprise party Fiddlesticks again.
Why he no use surprise party?
It's needed. He's having so many parties in this mid lane, he's just not inviting any of his friends.
It's very rude, I guess.
Very rude.
Very rude. Good place.
He invited Fizz but not Fish. I'm not happy.
No, not Fish. What, you went there?
No.
Oh no, sad.
Very sad.
EXO getting the superior farm out though, with 2 kills under his belt and 1 assist. That is definitely a goal lead against Ezreal here, who's not even picked up the third part, which is the Zeal. So with that being said, I mean Caitlyn should be able to get those bigger items, sitting at that 1.1k back home.
Second strike coming out from Nasus there. Just gonna hit Snoy as he heads back to base. Insta here looked like he wanted to go in onto EXO but decided not to. and just loops around.
Man, and Su just getting that free harass, getting freely harassed by Exo in that lane was just really strange play. I mean, the movement was quite sloppy if you ask me.
Sure, as we do see Insta still hovering around down at this bottom lane, trying to protect this bot lane duo of Ezreal and Annie, but he just doesn't know that Lee Sin and Fiddlesticks are both quite close by. He will see now that Noel just walked past a ward that both Fiddlesticks and Lee Sin are nearby, but could have been a bit risky there because I do think that Mineski
Garrena's coming in, gets the stun off with the Timbers, coming in the two-shot barrage, not getting hit anything but getting that speed boost in the process. Exo will be able to try to counteract with the attack. No, Assault and Battery comes in, and the pickup comes in for Xerath.
I like the play coming in there for Exo. He knew that he had the potential to outplay this bot lane duo after the two-shot barrage missed next to the flash, but another play at mid lane.
Yep, and this looks like an easy kill for the guys. Noel picks up with the resonating strike. I'm worried for the top lane though, because Nasus is not having a fun time with those siphoning strike stacks.
Mineski just put so much pressure down at this mid lane. We see Fiddlesticks is constantly mid lane.
Oh, and Su here going real low. He falls that bear. Will it be enough? Noel coming in from the side, and Su forced to bend that flash. Insta as well. Dodges with the Vault Breaker, and from the side, will Yume come in to try to get that kill? No, he sees Xerath lurking with the stun and says, I will have none of that. No roasted fish.
And I was gonna say earlier how Exo was trying to outplay that the 2-on-1 lane there. He did have a superior item advantage, and he was able to dodge quite a few abilities coming in from both Annie and Ezreal there, and had the superior health advantage and what might have been able to outplay Su there. But unfortunately for him, Vi was able to Vault Breaker over the wall and get the ultimate down onto Caitlyn, eventually picking up the kill onto Exo.
Yeah, that's the thing. But now, looking at it, Dragon has just respawned, and of course, Infinity here at a significant item advantage, hitting the 15-minute mark. Here goes Snoy going hard, and then I think just getting the extra harass onto Porsche. You can see Porsche only at 96 stacks of that siphoning strike. For this part of the game, it's actually not the best position to be in.
Sure, and he's also scaling up his siphoning strike. I don't think that's something you should do when you're far behind. I think
it's better get that Spirit Fire on.
I think so too. Even Wither, I feel, would be a better ability to be ranking up as Nasus right now.
Right, you could actually go for that roam instead of just staying in the lane. If you know that you're not scaling up as well, you can leech onto those to the other lanes found. But Porsche Cup here, because he wants to stay, he's going to try, in my opinion, I think he's going to try to be the super irritating, stay on the top lane, get that Iceborne Gauntlet, and just push. But it doesn't seem to be working out for him at the moment.
Might see a gang coming in from Vi here. We see both the ultimates pop by the brothers here. Here comes Izzy, he's going to go on to Snoy.
And Vi uses that Assault and Battery. Porsche Cup going very low. Snoy still has that health in his pocket. Insta staying there. Noel missing out by getting Dragon's Rage in the face.
And also Yume here going to pick up the kill onto Nasus. That was a gank gone wrong for Infinity.
And now Mineski will be able to actually push out that top lane, create pressure, and possibly move into tower number 2 as they spot Ezreal and Annie in that bot lane.
I felt that it was a really poor idea there for Porsche Cup to go aggressive onto Snoy before Vi was there.
Oh, Xerath's going in for that massive stun. Exhaust dropping onto TG as well. Exo coming from the side, trying to get harassing onto Xerath. Are they going to let TG run away from this? Yes, they do. Wow. And with that, Exo's presence and his DPS is actually giving them a lot of things to play. Fiddlesticks coming in with the party, and it looks like Xerath's will got really low. The fear comes down onto him, missing the W, and Exo picks up that kill.
Once again, Xerath just has not been able to land the W's on Annie just yet.
Oh wow, actually a really lucky mystic shot there. Su dropping extremely low as well. From the side, Firefox coming in. Mineski picks up a kill onto Nasus in the top lane. Firefox dropping out. The desperate power, will it be enough? No, the 90 caliber that comes in. TG, come on, playing dangerous waters here. And of course, burning Firefox's flash in the process.
Firefox, again,
questionable flashes.
Questionable flashes coming out from Infinity once again.
Oh, with that being said, it looks like Mineski is kind of outclassing them at the moment. And Infinity needs a lot to do to just get back into this game.
The gold advantage speaks for itself right now. We already see about 7,000 gold in favor of Mineski. Only 17 minutes into the game, they're going to pick up this mid lane tower with no comeback from Infinity.
Yeah, Infinity's not doing a good job with the rotations, But on the other hand, I think Mineski's doing a brilliant job with them, conversely. So this is actually looking really, really nice for the guys. But they need to close out. They need to push and pressurize, especially the Caitlyn going with that Bloodthirster. It means you gotta go now rather than later.
They sure do, and Mineski still do have that really good early game team composition. Infinity still do have the chance to scale into this late game, but Mineski have done a great job of abusing the fact that they have such a great early game team composition to create this gold advantage that they currently hold.
Yeah, a pre-20 minute 10k goal lead is actually a really great position to be in. With Exo and Noelle actually getting a lot of that farm going in. Look at that. 3 kills for Caitlyn, 3 kills for Fizz, 3 kills for Lee Sin. Now that is a very good goal distribution you want to be at. All your eggs are not in one basket. Both your AP and AD carries are getting some sick amounts of gold.
Snoy here on Renekton has picked up that Tiamat, so he will have pretty much 3 auto attacks within a second. 3 auto attacks reset straight away with his W ability as well. So Snoy gonna be able to put out some good DPS at this top lane. Hopefully, though, they will be able to continue this lead that Mineski have, because if not, that Tiamat item might cost them out later on in the game.
Right, because the Tiamat does not give any kind of defensive stats, and they need him to be that front line. They don't have a Rise to kind of hold them in. And in fact, he will be the only frontliner when Lee Sin starts to scale off a bit more instead of tanking them. And Noelle, they're picking up the blue buff.
They just give that to Noelle?
Yeah. In a way, I think they gave it to Noelle. Because, you know, Lee Sin needs monies. That's how it works.
Yeah, Lee Sin does need those monies.
He was blind. He was blind.
He's blind.
He's blind.
So he didn't know.
He didn't know.
He's asking his friends now if he has blue buff or not.
You guys want to give me blue buff? I'll just try. I try.
I'll help you guys out. Oh, sorry.
And the thing is that Exo has absolutely no mana just now. So I think it would have been better on Caitlyn. Just saying. Hashtag just saying.
So right now we're going to see Mineski just still putting on some good pressure into Infinity. We see that Infinity have started to cluster up, just try to shove out the waves. They have no control whatsoever over their jungle right now, and their warding is consistently being dewarded by TG, who has picked up that Oracle.
Right, ironically, Infinity is the one playing blind. And what Mineski can easily do is just say, alright, we're going to go swing up top, get that second tier turret easy, and then that's when the sieging for Baron or the Baron dance can start to begin.
You see, they were able to pick
the fish comes in, they hit onto Insta, not the best. Stops a mid-vault breaker, one of those sad moments of these double silence coming in. They get onto TG with the assault battery, not the best choice. Insta dropping very low, but exhaust drops with Yume as well. Noelle tries to pick up the investigating strike, TG dropping real low, but they're targeting out support. Now Zara's as well dropping very, very low, and Push Cup getting a double kill. Wow.
So that is the fight that Infinity needed. They still lost Insta in that fight, but a 2-for-1 trade is really good for Infinity, especially since they are behind right now. And they picked the right fight. They saw that Mineski only had 3 members there at that red buff, trying to take it away from Infinity. And Infinity had 3 members and 1 more coming really close by, but they will lose a tower for that fight.
Right, and Exo here still has a bunch of DPS come in. Firefox getting stunned out. Snoy doing a very good job in the front line. Noelle dropping extremely low. The flash comes in. Su tries to go in for the lockdown. Will the resonating strike? Yo, wait, finishes off with the Dragon Rage and a double Q combo. Exo here just playing real like cat and mouse game there with Nasus.
I really like that Lee Sin play coming from Noelle though.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was very
Super
nice.
clutch. Very
fancy.
Yes, very good. It's very clutch. He knew how much he had to do, and he just went in man mode.
I think Ezreal's body is now buried in the trees. He died midair.
He died midair.
Oh,
there we go.
It is, buried in the trees.
There we go. One with nature.
So, after picking up a great fight, Infinity were able to pick up 2 kills earlier for 1, but now they might be behind again.
Oh, and here's Snoy going hard and then going home. I don't know. Exo actually going way too deep. And the 2-shot barrage. Oh my goodness. Hitting extremely low. Insta. Go try another flash by Fox. And Insta trying to get that point of damage in, waiting for some mana. Exo has actually no mana, but the red buff should be enough. Oh no, not enough. Will that red buff tick off on Insta? Nope, it is going to be okay. Snoy coming in from the side and just dropping the Tiamat.
Dropping the Tiamat.
That was boss.
So Firefox again, that's maybe his
third flash.
The third questionable facts, and we've seen Zara's with a few this game as well.
Yeah.
Why questionable coming in from Team Infinity?
Hashtag mechanics need to be improved.
Mechanics.
Mechanics need to be improved. And Noelle pick up another free kill on that dragon. This is 3 dragons to none for Mineski, so they're up by that big goal margin of 12,000. 12,000 goals at the 22-minute mark. Remarkable stuff. I think they have this in the bag so long as they keep that pressure up in the lanes. They don't necessarily... They could take that Baron buff for some extra security as a blanket, but I think they could easily just... Oh, getting hit by that trap! And then, you know, Sue.
Hashtag mechanics.
Bye-bye. Oh, no! Getting that flash across the wall.
Those are mechanics.
Those are the real mechanics. And Yume dropping that kill.
Infinity showing us up.
Yeah, and then Mineski there, I think Yume was a bit overconfident of his damage. And he didn't throw in that Q. He didn't throw in... Oh no, he didn't use the Urchin Strike.
Cupcakes were too tasty for Ezreal there though.
But you know...
It was worth it. He got a cupcake
got
and managed to escape.
He got cupcake plus some protein from the fish.
Yes, the fish.
You
Very
know,
tasty.
Very tasty.
Hopefully it was cooked though, raw fish. Unless it was sashimi.
Sashimi,
Sushi,
yeah.
you know.
Xerasia staying at the side. Will he do another flash play? No, his flash is down at the moment, so no big worries
Please,
there.
I hope they stay down.
The rest of them trying to make some plays around the Baron pit, figuring get the wards out. That kind of signals, yeah, they want to do this one for extra comfort, like a security blanket. But Yume still making a slow way to the base, from the base, I mean, yeah.
Nasus here still being the annoying split pusher right now. He's picked up an Iceborne Gauntlet, so he is not... It's not the tankiest item that Nasus can pick up. Gives him some good damage and good stats, but it's not the tankiest item that Nasus
Insta
can
gets
pick
hit
up.
by the Fear in that mid lane. Drops down to about 3/4 of the health left. That's a good start to be it. You want to whittle on that tank as much as possible. But Portugal comes back. Recon, now the defense of the base begins.
We see the cupcake traps being put down by Caitlyn here.
Oh, 3
Portugal.
pokes there.
Portugal decides to eat one for himself. Being quite selfish there, I think.
Tasty, tasty. Who let the dogs out? Doggy treats, man. TG coming from the side, spots out their wall, has to clear with the Oracle. I think the Oracle still is going to last just a while longer for him. In fact, it's a fresh one for him. And now he's going in for the siege.
This fight, I feel, will be crucial for Infinity, but not so much for Mineski. If Infinity can win this fight, they have a chance of coming back into this game. But if Mineski do lose this fight, they're still pushed up into the base of Infinity and still have a sizable gold advantage, and they could still potentially win the next few fights. But if Infinity loses this fight, I think that's game over.
Yeah, if Infinity loses this fight, then you kind of know that they have a big opening for Baron and then just a game sealer. But Infinity still has that chance of recovery, which I actually enjoy. Because if that goal can be channeled into one of the big characters like Ezreal, or even Ryze, I mean Ryze is still great in that late game, then we could see a very, very strong comeback.
Zhonya's Hourglass has been picked up by Yume here, so he's going to have that extra few seconds of invulnerability when he does go in with his Fizz there. We see that Ezreal has picked up the Last Whisper early on, so since his team is behind, that Last Whisper is going to give him a decent amount of damage to work with against the tanks of Mineski.
Yeah, the dive potential with that extra Zhonya's Hourglass is actually really, really helpful. Exo getting a free few hits onto that turret. That's a good play. They need to do that, siege it down as much as they possibly can, and from there, you know, it's going to be an easy inhibitor.
I feel like Infinity have to go now. They have
to go, yeah, they have to go.
They have to make a fight now, and that's what
there
they do.
Insta dropping the assault battery onto Exo. He went forward for some strange reason, and then that was the death of him. Not enough DPS coming in, the fear from TG, but Portugal will have none of that with that pop ghost. He's going to drop Iceborne Gauntlets. Once you get that first hit,
come here, Fiddle.
Bam! Will he get the flash off? No, he uses the fear. Tries to bait out the flash. No, he uses it.
Die,
but
though.
the ignite, not going to be enough. Snorri dropping extremely low as well. The Baron was slightly agitated. I think.
Baron said, "Why are you guys fighting around me? I just want to be your friend."
And that was actually a good fight for Infinity.
That's exactly what Infinity needed to do. I was gonna say right before the fight took place is that while Renekton is top, with this huge initiate team composition that Infinity have, with Ryze having the snare and his Tibbers, the lockdown coming in from Insta, especially with the flash Vault Breaker that we saw Insta pull off there, they have to fight while Snowy is pushing top lane and kill somebody before Snowy gets there. If they can do that, it's essentially a 4-on-5 for the remainder of the fight, and despite the gold advantage, having a carry or two down early on into team fights is just something you can't work with, regardless how much gold your team has.
That's right, hashtag positioning for that one, because Caitlyn was in all the wrong places. Insta-bursted before anyone could react.
They took advantage of the fact that EXO on Caitlyn was being almost cocky, so to speak, to get some damage down onto that mid lane tower to siege it up, as you said, as much as he possibly can. And by doing that, he opened up he wasn't in the right position to prevent that engage coming in from Infinity. But now they're in a bit of dilemma because Mineski had time to go back to base and grab their items, and now they've come back in full force to siege his tower once again.
Right, and it's not like the turret's really high in health, it's about 1/3 left. Now Exo can continue to be that irritating long-range Caitlyn and just slowly siege that turret down, while TG at the side waits for the opportune moment to have that party once again.
We're gonna see if TG invites his friends to the party this time, and this is where I feel that Insta really need to pick a fight once again while Mineski are really split up. We're gonna see Naxxus go up to the top, and he does have a Negatron cloak, so he should be able to tank out some damage coming in from Fizz here. And Naxxus is starting to scale. I didn't think this would happen, but now Naxxus is starting to scale for Team Infinity. He might be able to pull it off.
Right, so he has 195 stacks. Not the best amount of stacks to have as a Naxxus at this point in time in the game.
Still stacks.
But still stacks. I mean, still stacks and still damage, considering the fact that he had a bad game, but 4-3-0 actually helped out a lot.
Naxxus still provides a ton of damage with his
Start coming
ultimate.
from the side, dropping the Vault Breaker. We try to fly across the wall. No. This is out. The gauntlet.
So Naxxus still has a ton of damage coming from his ultimate, and the best thing about him is that he can lock down an 80 carry. And with Caitlyn being one of the few immobile champions on Team Mineski right now, he could pretty much charge head-on into Caitlyn, separate Exo from the rest of his team, and just try and take out one of the main damage dealers of Mineski.
Actually, that's exactly what he needs to do now, because if they don't, there's actually no chance of recovery whatsoever.
There sure is, and so we're gonna have to see what Infinity do now. They are still behind by quite a lot, 13,000 gold behind Mineski, but it did show that they are capable of winning team fights, especially when they have the superior positioning.
That's true. I mean, what Infinity needs right now is actually just to catch someone out. I didn't really think it's possible. I mean, I knew it's a catch comp. And Noel here going for the big engage, but will it cost him his life? They get a 10 dash. Wow, Noel's actually pretty tanky. Snoy choosing not to go in as of yet. The fish drops down. I wonder why Snoy didn't follow up. Maybe they thought, not the best time to re-engage. Noel gets caught on here. He took the safeguard. TG coming from the side. Assault and Bash drop, and Insta dropping extremely low. Not enough damage though. Yume, C-Stone Trident. No one runs with C-Stone Trident. Push out coming from the side. They get the Exo. Stu as well to damage. They miss a ton of that. The flash comes in. They get a stun onto Stu and Snoy sweeping that one up. Exo making clean work. Onto Posh, wasting the ace in the hole. But ace comes in and that's all that matters.
That was such a great chance for Infinity there, but they just didn't seize the opportunity. They did not burst down Noel in time, and Insta saved his ultimate so long into that team fight, and just got bursted down when he used it, because he used it right as Mineski grouped up as 5.
Right, that's the kind of play you would do if you were even on goal, but in that kind of dire situation where you just need to pick off and disengage, they could have done it way earlier with Noel. They could have used the assault battery onto Noel.
They needed to do what they did when Mineski were sieging that mid lane turret. They needed to just kill one person, back up, do it again.
Yeah, they needed to rinse and repeat. I totally agree. But I think they estimated themselves as having reached that point where, okay guys, we can go for that 5-on-5 team fight, but they were in no way ready. So Exo had free reign the entire part of that map.
And you saw that they were only able to pick up one player from Mineski, and that would be TG, but killing TG this late in the game doesn't do too much for your team.
Yeah, you just get that bonus goal. And here, Infinity actually doing a really risky play by going to the Baron. The Baron, I mean, it's the last stand, might as well.
So, Mineski did have to go back to base and grab items, so Infinity do have a few second advantage.
They could do this. I mean, Yume and Exo are not here. They are not here to kind of contest, and the Baron will go to Infinity. This is a great moment for them. Insta getting in the long range. The fish misses, so Snoy charging to the backline, 5 off very low. A good flash from him finally, but Bushcabra just left there to die in the lurches. Zara's going and gets hit by the ace in the hole. Might this be the game-changing moment? Snoy running in, no mercy. Drop no damage, but Zaris gets killed in the process. Noel diving straight in. Sue as well, trying to siege from the side. A shutdown coming in from Sue, getting that missing shot onto Yume.
He might get feared here. He does get feared. Exo should be able to pick up the skill. Might be able to pick up Insta as well. The surprise party comes. RPG. He might, no, he does not get taken on by Rise there, but Mineski should be able to close out this game now.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Tyrant's gone really low. No one's left to stop him. Exo's still getting free reign from the side. Noel going in. They logged on to Firefox as the last source of DPS. If he dies, that is it. And of course, it's having to burn that flash to go right to the turret. Easy game. And now Mineski will finish it off. No! Looks like another stand coming for Porsche.
Not enough.
Not enough. Not enough.
So that would be the classic debate there. Is it worth it to trade an inhibitor for Baron? As I've always said, I always thought inhibitor is much more important than Baron, and just shows right there that Mineski proved that. And you have a Teemo skin.
Wow. Okay. I don't know how that worked. And somehow, sorry, the client kind of bugged out.
So somehow you gained a division there, and you got a skin after watching a game.
I had a bunch of things happen to me, and with that, that's the end of game 1. But though we have 4 games tonight, and that was Mineski getting 1 point ahead in their league. So now they're up to two games of win and out of the 3 games they played. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.